I started the Ugly Girls Club to fulfill a void that I felt needed to be filled for women who are under the radar, for women who feel invisible because of how they look, for women who've been treated like rejects, and emotionally abused because they're not attractive. And I wanted a hub where we can discuss and practice and get information on personal development for ourselves, because we have a slightly different walk than everybody else. Because when you're unattractive, nobody feels guilt about mistreating you. Nobody feels badly about not keeping their promises to you. Nobody feels badly about using you. We don't inspire morals.
So, can we talk about how much being considered ugly when you're younger has an impact on how you date when you're older? When you grow up being conventionally unattractive, whether you're overweight or you're a person of color in predominantly white spaces, or you just have features that don't fit the European beauty standards, it's so hard. It's hard seeing all of your conventionally attractive friends have boyfriends in middle school and high school, but no one's checking for you because you're not pretty. I personally never had any romantic experiences until college. That was when I had my first boyfriend, my first kiss, first everything, and it was literally one of the worst experiences of my life. This guy was literally so terrible to me. Not only was he ignorant and racist, but he was just a bad boyfriend. He didn't know how to treat a woman, and I settled for it because I had never had anyone express interest in me before him. And despite him being a bad boyfriend, I stayed with him until he broke up with me. And at that point, I then proceeded to basically beg for him back because I literally did not think there would ever be anyone else out there that would love me the way he did. And I was really depressed for a long time because I didn't know my worth and I was putting all of my worth into male validation. And looking back, I am really grateful for that breakup because it allowed me to realize a valuable lesson in self worth. Despite only ever having one man interested in me in my entire life at this point, I was okay with it because I was able to learn through that relationship that I don't need a man for validation. I don't need anyone to basically determine my value. So while I might not have had a million men knocking down my door to date me when I was younger, I'm okay with it because I learned a valuable lesson that a lot of girls don't learn until they're way older and have experienced a lot more life. So I say all this to say, if you are a young woman who's struggling with self-confidence because you might not be as conventionally attractive as the girls around you, just know that your time will come and know that you don't need a man for validation. Be confident, be yourself, and the right person will find you.
A lot of men believe that if a woman is not their type, that she shouldn't be anybody else's type.
As a socially unattractive woman, I feel this on a spiritual level. And not only do they think that no one else should be attracted to you, they also feel like you shouldn't have any dating expectations and you should just be grateful for whoever is trying to talk to you.
I grew up a very unattractive person.
So, if you haven't watched this girl's video, she basically was just saying, she grew up really unattractive. She never got attention from boys, so she feels like she's really ugly. I hope I did not take that out of context. I really hope I did not add nothing on there, but to me, that's what I was getting from her video. And really, I grew up the same way. Like, if I told people that who know me now, they probably wouldn't believe me. But I got bullied so bad growing up. And when you're in your early stages of life, If everybody around you is telling you that you're ugly, that there's something wrong with you, that you're less than the other girls your age because of how you look, you're gonna believe it. It doesn't matter how strong you are or how much maybe your mom tells you you look good at home. It's going to affect you when all of your peers are constantly pouring hate into you, constantly telling you you're ugly, constantly treating you like you're ugly. The boys your age are overlooking you, making fun of you. Everybody around you is bullying you and constantly putting hate on you. It's going to affect the way you see yourself, especially in your younger years. I was bullied very badly in school, like K through 12, like the whole time. Like, it wasn't one year in grade school where people left me alone or I wasn't being bullied. So when I was like 16, I went on a self-love journey, like a big one. And basically, I learned that the only way to combat what other people have told you or what other people have said about you, how other people have treated you, the only way to not let that affect the way that you see yourself is you have to put yourself in an environment where you're surrounded by positivity, where people are uplifting you. And honestly, for me, that environment was just even church, like not physically going to church, but when I went home every day after school, I would Google or YouTube how to love yourself, how to help self-confidence as a young girl, how to start your self-love journey. And I would constantly meditate on those materials, and that's really what helped me build my self-confidence up. And I truly believe that nobody's ugly, right? But people are going to feel ugly when everybody around them is constantly trying to tear them down and tell them that they're ugly. So a lot of people might think like, oh my God, like, why would she say she's ugly? But I've even felt like I was ugly because of my environment. So when you're able to create your own environment, even if that's just like locking yourself in your room and like listening to podcasts, YouTube videos, girl talks about how to love yourself, about, how to build up your self-confidence, about how to go on a self-love journey, that honestly makes all the difference. And when I got into college and I saw how the niggas was on my body, I'm like, oh yeah, they lied. They lied. Ain't nobody ugly. They lied.
It's honestly crazy to me how men treat unattractive women. So I'm not gonna say I was like ugly, but in high school, I was definitely nowhere near as attractive as I am now. And also I was just like nerdy, skinny, kind of just not confident. But men were just so mean to me. I'm talking like they would full on ignore me in conversations. So when I got to college and started getting all of this male attention, I was like so confused. The switch up to me is just so crazy because now I literally get everything for free. I get invited to the craziest things with like celebrities, rappers, like not because I'm famous, because I'm pretty and so are my friends. That's literally the only reason. Obviously we're fun too, but it just makes me sad though how men view unattractive women versus attractive women. It's just like, who cares? Anyways, love you guys so much. Fuck men. Bye.
Tell me you don't have pretty privilege without saying, I don't have pretty privilege.
Oh boy, here we go. I always have to start conversations with men because they just don't talk to me otherwise. When we go to bars, everyone wants to talk to my friends and never me. What's your friend's Snapchat? Who's your friend? I only get free drinks at the bar if my pretty friend is getting drinks bought for her and those guys feel bad for me. I've had many friends that won't post pictures with me because my look doesn't fit their aesthetic. I've had a few instances that I've been told that I'm fuckable but never dateable. The amount of times that men, even just male coworkers, have walked away while I'm in the middle of a sentence is disgusting. In high school, guys would rate girls on Ask FM, and I'd sometimes make the list, but they make it very clear that it was only because I have big boobs. It's always the boobs.
Most guys do not want to be friends with the ugly girl. It is always going to be mainly the pretty ones. And I say this because whenever it is a pretty girl, you have more of an incentive to be in a friendship with her. I'm telling you, most guys are friends with girls just because they find them attractive. And fellas, if you disagree with me, you're fucking lying. And this is why I can't believe in guys being friends with girls. Because there's always a hidden intention behind the scenes. Because whenever you're friends with a pretty girl, you're obviously gonna find her attractive. And you're going to want to stay friends with her just because you're going to think that there's going to be that little opportunity for you to swoop in and actually cuff her, or maybe even just fuck. And this is why most people are skeptical of boy best friends. Shit, I would too, because I used to do that shit back then. I know how guys think, bro, and I'm not gonna let my girlfriend have a guy best friend, bro. It just does not work.
Physically unattractive women are fucking rude.
So there's a really interesting study that we learned about in my social psych class about like the halo effect of beauty. And people who are beautiful are more likely to be rated as like better people, kind people, interesting people, fun to talk to. So they did this study where they had pictures of ugly women and beautiful women and gave those pictures to a man on the phone. He was told that he was talking to the woman in the photograph. All these men talked to the same woman, but they were told that the person they were talking to was the person in the photograph. There was the ugly group and the beautiful group. When men thought that they were talking to an ugly woman, they rated the conversation as less interesting, that she was less kind, and she was less intelligent, unlikely to become friends with her. What was interesting was they had a blind rater listening to the conversation and decide how the speaker actually sounded. Again, same woman, and the rater said that the ugly woman, without seeing the image of her, was also less appealing to talk to. This is because when people are treated badly, they respond badly. Men were nicer to the beautiful women, and so they were nicer in response.